This is a drag strip. There are over 400 such strips in the United States. And more than 5 million people attend drag races every year. This man is a drag racer. He is one of 200,000 whose hobby is to go from a standing start to the finish line, 1,320 feet away, 1/4 of a mile, faster than anyone else can. This is drag racing. A car traveling at a steady 60 miles an hour takes 15 seconds to travel a 1/4 mile. From a standing start, this dragster driver will cover the same distance in about 8 seconds. And he will be traveling close to 200 miles an hour when he crosses the finish line. That is acceleration. Drag racing, a comparatively new sport, started in the United States in the late 1940s. We're at Pomona, California for the National Hot Rod Association WinterNationals, one of 2 main annual events in drag racing in the United States. 75,000 spectators are here, and 500 competitors from all over North America. And the man with the best equipment, the most skill, and sometimes the most luck, wins. Men like Len Richter with his Ford Fairlane Thunderbolt, powered by a 427 cubic inch or 7-liter high-riser Ford engine in the superstock class for cars with stick shifts. Or 68-year-old Sam Perot of California, one of the grand old men of drag racing, with his Ford-powered Curtis, an A-modified sports car. Billy Cox is here, competing in Class A stock automatic. And Gas Ronda, world point champion in stock cars for 1964. All the hoopla and ballyhoo of a state fair is in the air, plus all the excitement of motorsport. Drag racing is essentially a simple sport, driving in a straight line from a standing start for a 1/4 mile. But when you're sitting behind 1,400 horsepower, nestled in a 1,300-pound car, just going straight becomes a very busy pastime. In the faster unlimited classes, anything goes as long as safety precautions are followed, including twin engines and even an occasional 4-engine job. Accidents do happen in the highly skilled, but the rules are devised to avert turning this kind of misadventure into tragedy. And it is a tribute to the sport's organizing bodies that drag racing has a better safety record than any other kind of motor racing. Cars are so fast in the dragster classes, reaching terminal speeds of 200 miles per hour, that parachutes are used to help stop them. In the staging area, cars get in line for their runs. cars are started by the Christmas tree, an anticipated start system that tells the driver when he can go and automatically disqualifies him if he starts too early. The green light starts the clock, and an electric I-beam stops it, measuring elapsed time to the thousandth of a second. A flashing arrow points to the winner's lane so the crowd can tell who wins the close ones. The cars compete in classes: stock cars, sports cars, factory experimental cars, coupes and sedans, roadsters, and the out-and-out dragsters, sometimes called slingshots or rails. Special classes are set up for cars that are modified mechanically, that have modified bodywork, or are homemade. The classifications are further complicated by whether the cars run on gasoline or exotic nitrate-based fuels, and on the basis of pounds per cubic inch displacement. There are currently 74 divisions and classes of cars competing in the United States. This is Len Richter in his Thunderbolt, which competes in the top stock eliminator division. It can cover the standing quarter mile in just under 11 seconds. Watch Len go through those gears. These AA fuel dragsters are producing approximately 1,400 horsepower, and managing one of them under full throttle is no job for the faint of heart. The hours in this office aren't long, but the demands are rather severe. The other premier event in American drag racing is the Nationals, held at Indianapolis Raceway Park, Indiana. This event draws more spectators and entrants than Pomona, with some 125,000 fans watching 1,250 cars compete over the 5-day event. This is American backyard engineering at its best. The dragsters are meticulously prepared, often on shoestring budgets, and perfected after at least a couple of years of hard-earned experience at the drag strips. The cars take all shapes and sizes, but are aimed at a single goal: acceleration. For maximum acceleration, the builder of a drag racer must get as much power as possible to the wheels, maximum traction between wheels and pavement, and carry as little weight as possible. So the builder soups his engine as much as he can within the regulations for his class. He moves everything as far back as possible to put the most weight on the rear wheels for traction, and fits the largest tires permitted at the rear to get more rubber on the ground. No starter motor is carried on the out-and-out dragsters. The extra weight isn't needed in a car that's hardly going to be used for shopping. Radiators aren't usually carried either. In a 10-second run, cooling isn't important. Despite the backyard nature of some of the cars, they represent the very highest sort of engineering within their limited goals. Engine tuning techniques, for example, are as highly developed among American drag racers as anywhere in the world. In every sense of the word, drag racers are carrying on their own basic research. But research is a two-way street. Many major automotive manufacturers cooperate with organized drag racing as another research tool to supplement their own development and testing work. Experience gained at the racetrack will eventually filter its way into the products on the road. Here, technical representatives of the Autolite division of Ford Motor Company consult with car owners, including Jack Chrisman of the well-known Sachs & Son 427 Comet. All cars must undergo an intensive technical and safety inspection. At the same time, the cars are classified. Tension begins to build. Everything is checked 100 times, then once more. Tire pressures, for example, have to be just right to get the maximum traction. The cars are moved slowly to the staging area, where the drivers settle down and wait, preparatory to making their initial runs. The drivers of the big exotic fuel dragsters don their flame-proof suits and masks. Then come practice runs, time trials, and the actual elimination runs. Connie Kalita, one of the most successful of the dragster drivers, prepares for a run. Trophies are awarded for fastest elapsed times, fastest trap speeds, and top eliminators, drivers who have topped the other drivers in their class, but who haven't necessarily posted lowest times or fastest speeds. Here, a gas class coupe runs a time trial with a Class A supercharged coupe. Supercharging is used to increase power, and all of the big unlimited dragsters are supercharged. Bob Beezer, a full-blooded Deseronto Indian from Canada, is brought to every major drag meeting in the United States by the National Hot Rod Association. A drag meeting has never been rained out while he was in attendance. He calls to the line a 427 Mustang. Everyone runs for trophies, cash, and for awards and equipment that consist of everything from wrenches and spark plugs to complete cars. Although drag racing began in America, it is now gaining worldwide popularity. Crowds in Britain, South Africa, Mexico, and other countries are flocking to drag strips. Here in England, in the late summer of 1964, fans turned out in droves for the first British International Drag Racing Festival. In the past, similar events here have been referred to as sprints, or simply acceleration trials, and they've been pretty well restricted to English machines. So this is the first glimpse for the British of such single-purpose American machines as this dragster owned by Doug Church from Long Beach, California, or Tony Nancy's Wedge 2. The scene in the pits is almost the same as it would be at an American meet. Only the dress and the accents are different. Here, Don Garlitz, the big daddy of American drag racing, prepares for an all-out run in his Wynn's Jammer. Don was the first person to consistently break 200 miles per hour in the quarter mile. If the English think the American cars are strange-looking, the corresponding reaction must be recorded on the part of the American team. The English, lacking sources of drag racing equipment and parts presently manufactured primarily in the United States, tend to race more kinds of vehicles than the Americans. Former Grand Prix cars, go-karts, motorcycles, even an antique Napier appear in the pits. Motorcycles in particular are very popular, and when adapted for drag racing, provide wild and exciting action. Wonder how many trips through the quarter mile this competitor gets to a pair of shoes. Although the English racing fans have had considerable experience with acceleration trials, they certainly had never seen anything like the all-out American dragsters. The Wedge 2 with rear engine and full streamlining is one of the most technically advanced cars in the business, and the British were impressed by its outstanding performance. Popular Tommy Ivo, the American TV personality, was a great favorite. Here he does a wheel stand. The tremendous power actually lifting the front wheels off the ground at the start. To give the English version of such activities, Sidney Allard's Ford Cortina-powered Dragons were demonstrated. The supercharged 1.6-liter or 91 cubic inch Dragons turned in remarkable quarter-mile times of 11.11 seconds with trap speeds of 129 miles per hour. Not bad for an engine less than a fourth the size of the big American dragsters. And so, drag racing goes international. Early in 1965, the sport was recognized by the FIA, the international sanctioning body for motorsports events, and the exchange of teams probably will continue in the future. This, then, is drag racing. And throughout the world, drivers are making it the most exciting new event in motorsports as they meet the challenge of that short quarter mile, a mere 1,320 feet.